Dividends. How and when are they paid to a cash value life insurance policy? Well, how they're paid and when they're paid, we're going to go into it right now. So let's begin. Quick recap when it comes to dividends on a life insurance policy, to break it down, because this can be an area that confusion revolves around. If I have a company with a 6% dividend rate, how that's actually broken down. The company publishes their dividend rate 6%. However, if they have a guaranteed rate of 4%, what that means is that they declared a surplus in earnings of another 2%. The guarantee plus the surplus of 2 equates to 6%. Why I mention this is when you see an actual dividend payout to a life insurance policy, a dollar number, it is made up of the surplus rate, meaning the guarantee is not included in that figure. How the dividends are actually paid is broken up between how much money I have going towards base premium and how much money I have going into PUAs. Different calculations, different formulas are used for those two components, which we've got other videos that really go into detail if you're looking for that. Now, the dividend payout, what we just touched on, is the surplus rate only, meaning if I have a policy and I get a dividend payout, an annual statement, or the illustration for that particular year reads $2,000, that did not include my guaranteed cash value growth. Good to be aware of that, because illustrations and life insurance and contracts can be confusing sometimes. Now here we've got illustration year to year. So where I'm going with this is anytime you see a illustration from a life insurance company that projects values based on the company's, whatever insurance company you're looking at, their dividend rate today or for this particular year, and their insurance expenses for this particular year. As time passes, things will change. I may adjust my payments. Dividend rates will go up and down. So as that happens, what I see on that actual illustration today will not happen over time. The results will be different. Now, what is interesting is when you look at an illustration that is typically accurate year to year, meaning when I buy a policy in 2020, I can see what my cash value, guaranteed and non-guaranteed, will be at the end of the year, and that illustration is accurate in the first year. When it becomes inaccurate is year 2, if I'm referring the original one and the dividend rate has changed, or I paid in a different amount, whatever it might be. Good to be aware of that, and this is why it is critical to know year to year is when I want to look at an illustration and an in-force illustration every year. So whoever you work with, if you work with us already, you see these all the time as the years have passed. Here was the original illustration when you first took out the policy. Here is the new in-force illustration, so we see what we earned this year, and then also we get to compare it, track the actual performance with that illustration that was first presented to you when you purchased the policy. Now, let's continue on. When? This is the big question. When are dividends paid to my cash value life insurance policy? Well, this does depend on the company and also the product. Why I say product is most traditional life insurance policies, when it comes to the base premium dollars. Remember in the beginning how we said the formulas, the calculation based off of base premium and PUA dollars are different when it comes to the surplus in particular? Well, on base premium dollars, with most traditional life insurance policies, dividends are not paid, in most cases, years 1 and 2. Beginning year 3, you start to see dividends accrue. That's with most traditional products. Now, when it comes to the company and why that would impact when we receive a dividend is to break things down a little bit further. Well, if I look at a policy, am I going to get that dividend in the beginning or end of each policy year? Or is a company going to declare to me, here's your dividend payout. I'm going to pay you $5,000 in dividends this year. Because we can see that as agents on our side. We can see what the dividend payout will be for that particular year in advance. They let you know, annual dividend payout. So the question is, when do I actually get that $5,000 or whatever the figure is? Will it be at the beginning, end of the year, or do they declare it and then spread it out over 12 months? And all companies have a different way of doing things. So here's a quick example, and here's a good area to reference. You can look at a full contract. The contract language will state exactly when dividends are paid to your policy. But if you're looking for a quick reference, we have two different companies. Well, we're going to go through one at a time. And all I want to highlight here, got the cash value build up, payments. Here is our annual dividend. And what you see is annual dividend beginning year. So what that means, whatever this dollar figure is, they are declaring and paying you in the beginning of the year. Now I know that this particular company declares it in the beginning of the year, but they don't pay a lump sum. They don't pay a lump sum. They don't pay a lump sum in the beginning of the year. It's typically spread out over a 12-month period, which I want to know as a policyholder up front, so I'm not thinking that, hey, year 10, dividend payout's $5,600. I just started year 10, where's that $5,600? And I see it gradually accrue to my policy over time. So good to be aware of these little tips or little items, as there's so much going on with these policies. Different policy illustration, and again, we get some transparency here. End of year dividend. There's the amounts. This particular product begins paying dividends in the second year. So we showed a different product really to demonstrate an earlier dividend payout. Now, end of year. What that means with this particular company is they pay a lump sum dividend at the end of the policy year. So the guaranteed interest, I do see that accrue when we've tracked performance with these policies over the course of the year. And then the dividend payout is in one lump sum at the end of the year. So I know these are a lot of small pieces of information, but it is good to be aware of, just because the last thing that I want is to take out a policy, expect one thing, and then find out it's not the case. So hope this helps. Reach out with any questions, and we will talk to you soon. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.